I hit the club, look at them hoes' face. Hit the pedal once, make the floor shake. Sway inside, my engine roaring. It's the big boy, you know what I paid for it. And I got the pedal to the metal. Got you niggas checking game, I'm ballin' out on every level. Hear them haters talk, but there's nothing you could tell them. Just made $1 million, got another $1 million on my schedule. No love for them, nigga breaking hearts. No keys, push to start. Yeah, you know what it is. Everything I do it big. Yeah, screaming that's nothing. When I pulled off the lot, that's nothing. Reppin' my town, when you see me, you know everything. Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. I put it down from the whip to my diamonds. I'm in black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. Got a call from my jeweler, this just in. And bitches love me cause I'm fucking with their best friends. Not a lesbian, but she a freak though. This ain't for one night, I'm shining all week, ho. I'm sipping Clico and rocking yellow diamonds. So many rocks up in my watch, I can't tell what the time is. Got a pocket full of big faces.
So I'm out in the woods again. This is going to be a special episode. First thing, please like, follow, subscribe to the Treeline Podcast if you have not already. Comment, engage. I've been seeing a lot of people commenting and liking, man. I really appreciate it. But this is going to be a special episode. At the end of this episode, the last 10 minutes, I'm going to go into a new segment. I want to do this kind of going through the next couple episodes and see if it works out well. But what I'm going to do is like a warrior week. So even if it's every week or every 2 weeks, I'm not sure how it's going to turn out. But ultimately, I want to do like a 10-minute segment at the end of each podcast, reading a citation, whether it be a Medal of Honor citation or a Bronze Star citation, some kind of citation of heroic valor of either a soldier, a Marine, or any other branch. If you guys got some cool stories or citations of people you served with or something like that, shoot it at me. You can hit me up on Instagram. You can hit me up on Facebook. And if I'll take a look at it and maybe we'll go with that one next. But I'm not going to get into that just yet. Like I said, that's going to be the last 10 minutes. And this kind of like we're trying it out. We'll see if it works out, if you guys like it. But for this episode, I'm going to talk about hitting the fleet. All right. So when I was a young Marine, when I first hit the fleet. Now, that was a long time ago. So we're talking 16 years ago now. And I remember, I'm not talking about infantry school. I'm not talking about boot camp. I'm talking about hitting the fleet. All right. So the fleet was just a different beast, man. I mean, when I first hit the fleet, I went kind of in the buddy program, but not really. And I'm going to explain this to you. So the Marine Corps has a program called the buddy program where, like, if you and your best friend or something grew up in the same town or really good friends or whatever your whole lives, you can go to the Marine Corps and be like, hey, we want to join together, but we want to do the buddy program, which will pretty much keep you guys on the same roster together through through boot camp, into infantry school, and then into the fleet, and then going to the same battalion or sometimes the same platoon and stuff, which happened to me. But like I said, I didn't go into the Marine Corps with the buddy system. The way I got in the Marine Corps was just by myself, right? But when I went to infantry school, I actually boot camp, I met this guy, a really great friend of mine. There was 3 of us in total, Dwyer and Doherty and myself, Murray. If you haven't known my name till now, my name is Murray. But yeah, so basically what happened, we met in boot camp, and boot camp is just a shit show. But we became really good friends at boot camp. They're both Northeastern guys, and I was a Northeastern guy. I joined out of the South, but I grew up in the Northeast. So I don't know if that's where it first started clicking for us, but we became really good friends, and then we moved on to infantry school after boot camp. In infantry school, we ended up together again in the same squad and everything. It was awesome. But what happened in infantry school to me is after about month 1 infantry school, you get liberty on the weekends, right? They let you go explore, the local areas, go out partying or whatever, go have some drinks or whatever. The first month, you're not allowed to leave. The first month, you're on lockdown, you're training, you ain't going nowhere. But after month 1, they kind of trust you a little bit more with your free time, and they let you, venture off and do things. So we, going into the second month, we ended up going to Wilmington, North Carolina. A lot of you guys know Wilmington. Those of you that served, in the Marine Corps at Lejeune, Wilmington is just a little ways away, about an hour away from Jacksonville, North Carolina. So They got more clubs. There's a lot of, college kids out there. It's a really pretty place too. It's a super pretty, beautiful place. It's on the coast, so it's, the ocean's right there, and they got nightclubs and, a lot of drinking bars and stuff like that. So you get your first piece of liberty. I mean, we went through boot camp and then a month of infantry school and didn't really get any liberty. And then now we finally get liberty. A lot of guys find themselves getting in trouble at this point. But I guess you could have said we got in trouble, but I think we handled it correctly. Now, what happened was we went to a club. Or not a club, yeah, a club bar thing. And we all had, the high and tight, motivating, screaming eagle fucking jarhead haircuts. And when you go into college towns that are used to Marines, mind you, they're used to Marines coming and taking, I guess, the girlfriends or whatever the case is from Wilmington, they don't like us, right? And we didn't know that. We're young Marines. We never, been to Wilmington to party or nothing. So this is all new to us. So we end up out there. And I remember in the club, I walked in there, and this guy just staring at me. Like, he instantly gave me the evil eye, like, for no reason. I didn't say nothing to him. I remember specifically explaining this to my buddies and to the instructors in infantry school, because you got to, you have to answer for freaking any kind of situation you get into when you're in the Marine Corps. You have to answer for it, trust me. So, but yeah, so what happened? This guy was giving me the evil eye, and the next thing I knew, someone socked me in the head. I was just socked in the head. I didn't even know where it came from. I don't think it was the guy even staring at me. It was like another guy. It was like he had a crew or something. So what happened? We were kicked out for whatever reason. I don't even know why we were kicked out, because I was the one that got socked in the head. But it was a long time. I'm talking about years ago. So we got kicked out, ended up in the alley outside the bar, and then these kids come out, and there must have been like 10 or 12 of them, dude. I'm not exaggerating the number. There was a lot of kids that came out wanting to beat the hell out of me. So that being said, I had my buddy Dwyer and my buddy Doherty with me. And these guys just come and instantly start beating the shit out of me. I mean, I remember getting knocked on the ground, kicked in the head, kicked in the side. I was getting my ass handed to me. And I look up, a couple chances I get to look up, and like Dwyer's out there just socking dudes. Dwyer's a big cat. Well, he's not super tall, but he's not the kind of guy you want socking you in the side of the head, that's for sure. And Doherty, he's a real little guy, but he was holding his own too. It was me getting my ass handed to me. I swear there must have been 4 or 5 guys just kicking me on the ground. And Dwyer and Doherty were doing their best to try to help me. And then finally, I guess the cops came and broke it up. And I, like I said, I got my ass handed to me. So the next morning I woke up and my head was covered in knots and my black eyes. And I think I have a picture. I might post it in this video as well, but a picture of my face the next morning. Anyways, we get back to infantry school that Monday morning, and I knew the instructors were going to be like, what the hell happened to your face? Because my face was smashed, dude. I'm not even joking. It was not pretty. And so sure enough, we get there, formation Monday morning, and me, Doherty, and Dwyer all standing there next to each other, like always, because we were inseparable, man. We were great friends. The instructors come by, and sure enough, they stop right in front of me. Murray, what the F happened to your face? So I go to explain it to him what happened. I didn't lie. None of us lied. It was completely honorably true. And the instructors were kind of baffled. They didn't punish me. I didn't get arrested or anything. So I guess technically they didn't have to punish me. But there was some cats that got punished that day in formation because of the incident that I was in. And I'm going to tell you why here in a second. But anyway, so I explained to my instructors what happened. And they were kind of pleased to hear that my 2 buddies had my back. And like we were ready to get our asses beaten to death together. You know what I'm saying? Like they were about that life. But there was like 3 or 4 dudes in our infantry platoon, or excuse me, our infantry school platoon. So it wasn't like we weren't in the fleet yet. I'm still talking about how we get to the fleet, but yeah. So like 3 or 4 guys were at the same club with us, and they confessed. They said, "Hey, we saw it. We were there. We saw it." And they got. I'm not sure how they punished them. I think they just PT'd the crap out of them, but they got punished for not doing anything, for watching as bystanders. Like, and you know what? I commend my instructors for doing that, because that should be a valuable lesson. Even if you don't like the guy, if you're in the Marine Corps and you don't like your buddy to your left or your right, you are still going to take a bullet for that motherfucker, because that's your fucking job. You know what I'm saying? So like, so they were really upset with them other kids, but they were really happy about Doherty, Dwyer, and myself. And Dwyer went off to reserves. He didn't sign up for active, so unfortunately he didn't get to be a part of our our buddy system that we were talking about before. So what happened was it came time. The end of infantry school was coming to an end, and it came down to a roster came down saying, "Hey, you guys are going to this unit, and then you guys are going to this unit." And then Doherty was going to like 2-9, right? And I think I was going to 1-6 or 1-8. I can't remember. But we talked to the first sergeant at infantry school, the SOI School of Infantry first sergeant. We spoke to him and we're like, "Hey, man, this is what happened." And he's like, "Hey, I heard about your story." Like he already knew. He was already tracking. You know what I mean? And we talked to him. We're like, "Hey, first sergeant," completely respectful. And we're like, "Hey, look, we were just wondering because we're both going to different battalions, and we were wondering if we could get in on the same battalion." And then he's the one who told us. He's like, "Weren't you that kid that got your ass kicked and your buddies were fucking there for you and stuff and da-da-da?" And I was like, "Yes, first sergeant, that's what happened." He's like, "All right, let me see what I can do, devil dogs." And he takes off, and a couple days later, I got orders to 2-9. So sure enough, me and Doherty were going to 2-9 together. We didn't know that we were going to end up together, right? So when we got there, actually, you don't get to the fleet. They come, they got NCOs that come out and pick you up in vans, vans and buses and stuff, and they'll bring you over to Lejeune from Geiger, which is only like a 20-minute ride. So when they came to pick us up, me and Doherty told them, we're like, "Hey, we're in the buddy program. We just made that shit up." And they went with it, man. And we told them the story. They were tracking the story. Our first sergeant freaking at the infantry school had made it known. That story was known now to the NCOs that were picking us up and the unit that was picking us up. Because every time we got to anywhere, any checkpoint of getting into that unit, every time they were like, "Hey, there's 2 cats that are in the buddy system. I heard there's 2 cats in the buddy. Who's that? Me and Doherty." Every time, "That's us. It's us." So sure enough, that's how we ended up in the buddy system. All the way down to the same fire team. We were in the same fire team for probably over a year and some change. Stayed in the same squad, and then our first deployment, I'm pretty sure we went off into different platoons. But we were in a buddy system, man, for a solid year, I think, at least. So how we got to the fleet. Now let's talk about the fleet. I remember rolling up on the bus, man. I'm talking about 2-9. 2-9, I want to say these barracks were on like, damn. No, A Street maybe? I can't remember exactly where, because I've lived in so many barracks on that damn base. I can't really tell you. I can't remember exactly. C Street, I think. I can't remember. For the life of me, I can't remember. Anyways, I remember pulling up, man. In the bus, we were all fucking sitting in the bus, kind of creeped out, freaking out, because we're. Up until this point, we've never been to the fleet. We've never been around we've been around real infantry Marines that were instructors through our courses coming up to this point, like boot camp and infantry school and stuff like that. But we never really met, I guess, our salty peers, if that's a good term. Salty peers, salty senior Marines that weren't like technically staff NCOs and stuff, but they were Lance Corporals that we considered senior Lance Corporals, or even privates that have been knocked down but still running squads, you know what I mean? Like kicking ass and taking names. Some of the most badass motherfuckers on this planet is who we were rolling up on at the barracks that day. And I remember specifically just the whole courtyard in the barracks area was just dirt. For whatever reason, I guess grass wasn't growing, but it just looked like a prison yard, dude. That's the idea I got. It was just a freaking prison yard. But we pulled up, and dude, if you've seen it in the movies, if you've heard about it from a buddy that's first hit the fleet or something, it's all true. I mean, you got people from the 3rd and 2nd deck screaming, "Hey," or "Hey, there's new meat," and shit, like talking about like pretty boy new meat, and like we're about to eat you fucking alive, dude. Like that's all me and my buddies were thinking. So we hit the fleet, and there's another interesting story about hitting the fleet. So basically, you get given to your platoons, and then your platoons divvy you up into squads, and your squads will divvy you up into fire teams, for the roster, and then that's who you're with, basically. And me and Doherty ended up on the same fire team at first, in the buddy system. But I do remember hitting the fleet. All my senior Lance Corporals. I'm not going to say their names. I don't want to put them out there. I know that me and Doherty and Dwyer were really close friends for a long time. I'm not saying that I wasn't close friends with my senior Marines, but you gain a unspoken respect for the young men that you follow. My senior Marines, my senior Lance Corporals were younger than me with fucking salty rap sheets. I'm talking about coming from Marja, getting shot out on a regular basis, losing their buddies. The deployment that we came just after, they lost like 16 guys, man. And like, I can't imagine going through that, man. But these guys went through it. They went through it, and they took us in. And I remember my seniors, they used to tell us almost every day, because we were going back to Marja. Well, we were going to Marja. They were going back to Marja as our seniors, right? So we knew our deployment was coming. We're going back to Marja, Afghanistan, and Helmand Province. We knew that day was coming, right? And we knew it. So they used to tell us almost on a daily basis, hey, man, you're gonna die in Marja. You're going to die. I was probably told maybe 5-6 times a day that I was going to die in Marja. So I was convinced that I was going to die in Marja for a while there. Like a lot of the other guys, I'm sure were too. But I didn't. Obviously, a lot of guys didn't die in Marja that deployment. And that deployment was relatively mild compared to what my seniors dealt with. So, like, I thought it was rough, but I can't imagine. Like I said, I just have such a fucking respect for back then I didn't. Right? I was I wasn't salty, but I acted like it because I was a little older than these guys. So I thought maybe, like, you're young, you can't talk to me like that kind of shit. But trust me, in the Marine Corps, age really doesn't fucking matter. And it takes you a while to realize that as an older guy joining. Because I joined when I was like 22 or 23. And so, like, I joined a little later. So, like, my seniors, when I got there, were like 21 and just telling me, like, shut the fuck up and fucking get on the ground. Like, all this shit. Trust me, they, it sounds like hate, right? It sounds like hate and hazing, but they do it out. I mean, I can't speak for them, but I want to say they do it out of love, right? But yeah. And then another piece that I wanted to say before we get into the segment that I was talking about earlier. So I was in 2-9, like I said, and I wasn't going to say his name, but just because I brought up the fact that I was told every day I was going to die, one of my seniors, I was in Echo Company, but he was in Fox Company, and you all know him. And maybe one day I'll read his citation, but he's famous. I'm sure you've all heard of Kyle Carpenter, the Medal of Honor recipient, came from 2-9 Fox Company. He had gotten wounded severely. That's where he was written up for that Medal of Honor, in which he received later on. But for that deployment in Marja, the one I was talking about, my seniors going through, that hell they went through, that, like, they used to tell us horror stories about that. They're not my stories, so I don't want to tell them. But I mean, we were told this stuff all the time. And I do remember getting told every day that I was going to die in Marja, from my senior Marines. And then we'd see, like, Kyle Carpenter walking around. And this is before a lot of his surgeries. Like, it hits you. It's like, I might really die in Marja. You know what I mean? And I mean, thank God he didn't, right? But a lot of guys did, but I don't want to take away from Kyle Carpenter. He's a freaking hero, hands down. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He's a freaking hero. Maybe one day for the Warrior of the Week segment, maybe I'll read his citation. But let's roll into the citation, okay? So this week, who I'm going to be talking about is the one Staff Sergeant Ty Michael Carter, okay? Staff Sergeant Ty Michael Carter. So he was a Staff Sergeant when he got out. But when he was written up for this award, he was a specialist in the Army. So he's a soldier, okay? And like I said, I'm going to be doing these segments on soldiers, Marines. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to be looking for, citations. And if you guys, like I said, if there's somebody you serve with or that with it, written up for an award, a heroic valor award, let me know. And I'll look it up. If you don't have the citation, I'll try to find it, and we'll go from there. But this one is Ty Michael Carter, U.S Army. I'm just going to do a little bit briefing on him, and then I'll get into the citation. He was born in Spokane, Washington. Okay, this is just a couple facts about him. I thought I'd put it in because it would affect me if I were to go to war, knowing this happened at home. His brother died. He got shot in the chest by a shotgun by a drunk driver trying to show him a trick or something. I don't know all the details, but it is a significant part, I'm assuming, of his life. It would have been a significant part of mine. So I went ahead and put that in there. That was in 2000. But those of you guys, now listen, yes, he is a soldier. He got awarded this Medal of Honor as a soldier, but he did serve in the Marine Corps. He was ended up kind of booted out, but he still got out honorably. I'm not sure the exact details on that. I'm sure that, it's probably hidden in some freaking, I don't know, paperwork file somewhere on Lejeune or wherever the fuck he was serving. But anyways, he was in the Marine Corps for 5 years. He got out honorably in 1998 and went ahead and joined the Army. And when he got out of the Army, it was in 2014. So he served in the Army for quite a while. But we're going to go right into the write-up here, the citation, okay? So stand by. Specialist Ty M. Carter distinguished himself by acts of gallantry and intrepidity at the risk of his life above and beyond the call of duty while serving as a scout with Bravo Troop 3rd Squadron, 61st Cavalry Regiment, 4th Brigade Combat Team, 4th Infantry Division. During combat operations against an armed enemy in Kamdesh District, Nuristan Province, Afghanistan, October 3rd, 2009. All right. Listen, I've read this like 4 times. I'm not a great reader, and I'm going to be very upset with myself if I fuck it up, because it's a citation for a very heroic act. So if I fuck it up and I get mad at myself, it's not your fault. I'm going to take the heat out on me, all right? But let's continue, okay? On that morning, Specialist Carter and his comrades awakened to an attack of an estimated 300 enemy fighters occupying the high ground on all 4 sides of combat outpost Keating, okay? Employing concentrated fire from recoilless rifles, rocket-propelled grenades, anti-aircraft machine guns, mortars, and small arms fire. They were getting lit up, okay? Specialist Carter reinforced a forward battle position, ran twice through a 100-meter gauntlet of enemy fire to resupply ammunition, and voluntarily remained there to defend the isolated position. Armed with only an M4 carbine rifle, Specialist Carter placed accurate, deadly fire on the enemy, beating back the assault force and preventing the position from being overrun over the course of several hours. With complete disregard for his own safety and in spite of his own wounds, he ran through the hail of enemy rocket-propelled grenade and machine gun fire to rescue a critically wounded comrade who had been pinned down in an exposed position. I'm getting goosebumps, bro. Specialist Carter rendered life-extending first aid and carried the soldier to cover. On his own initiative, Specialist Carter again maneuvered through the enemy fire to check on the fallen soldier and recovered the squad's radio, which allowed them to coordinate their evacuation with fellow soldiers. The teammates providing covering fire, Specialist Carter assisted in moving the wounded soldier 100 meters through withering enemy fire to an aid station, and before returning to the fight, I told you I'm going to take the shit out on myself. I'm going to haze myself for that later. You fucking see that. You watch, all right? Specialist Carter's heroic actions and tactical skill were critical to the defense of combat outpost Keating, preventing the enemy from capturing the position and saving the lives of his fellow soldiers. Specialist Ty M. Carter's extraordinary heroism and selflessness above and beyond the call of duty are in keeping with the highest traditions of military service and reflect great credit upon himself, Bravo Troop 3rd Squadron, 61st Cavalry Regiment, 4th Brigade Combat Team, 4th Infantry Division, and the United States Army. Look. Oh, God dang. I'm sorry. My microphone. Look, I was going to say, I've never been written up for any kind of valorous awards. I might only know like 2 or 3 people that I've served with that have gotten a bronze. I know a couple guys with Bronze Stars, and I know a couple guys with what's it called? Navy Achievement Medal with the V device, I believe. The green one with the V device, the Combat Valor device. The only person I've met awarded the Medal of Honor was Kyle Carpenter, and that was very briefly when I was a boot in 2-9. But just reading over this citation, I read it like 4 times today. You have to understand that, and look, like I've been in combat, right? Shit like that I have never done. I'm sorry. I've never been put in the position to where I needed to do things like this. I've been shot at and I've fired back, right? And maneuvered on the enemy and done things like that. But we're talking about like going down a 100-meter gauntlet of freaking accurate enemy fire. We're talking about rocket-propelled grenades, machine gun fire, including small arms fire, mortars, anti-aircraft. Like, these guys were getting lit up, and this dude was still running back and forth, grabbing his buddies and running back, not giving a crap about his own wounds. And I'm not sure, it didn't say in the citation where he got hit, but I know he did. He got a Purple Heart from the incident as well. So he got effed up. He got effed up and didn't stop, dude. These guys, these infantry cats, man, that get these awards, and who knows, man, they're not all infantry cats. I'm sure like a lot of special MOSs out there, they get these awards too, you know, and I'm not saying it's more expected from them. I'm not saying it's fucking, I gotta watch what I say here, because like I said, man, I'm talking about heroes, and I want to be completely respectful to them and their families and whoever listens to this and their friends, but mostly to them, because these are the men responsible for the freedom in this country. I don't think people understand that all the time. Like, they walk among us. This man is still alive. He does public speeches. I'm going to put his Instagram here so you can go follow him and check him out. But he still talks to crowds of people about self-growth and life coaching and stuff like that. This dude he doesn't have to do that, but he's still reaching out to help people, man. Like, he has literally physically helped people off the battlefield and saved freaking lives. And he's still reaching out to people, trying to fix their lives and make them better people. This is the kind of person that, like I said, shapes freedom in this country. So, like, I'm not saying you got to freaking thank a veteran, but you should, man. You don't forget I said that, but you should thank your veterans, man. A lot of people, I think, overlook them, and not me. I'm not no Medal of Honor recipient. I think I've done badass things, but never something like this staff sergeant here. I just want to make sure I don't get his name messed up, because at the time he was a specialist, so it's gonna be Ty Michael Carter. Okay, check him out, man. Check out his Instagram. Give him a follow. If you guys, like I said, if you have anybody you serve with that you believe their citations should get read, alive or not alive, it doesn't matter. I believe it, even if they're gone, we should still honor them, and we should still respect the fucking shit they did for this country. Like, we need to. So, like, if you know somebody that's not here anymore, that's fine. Send me that citation. Send me the name. I'll find the citation. That's fine. And we'll get him on here for Warrior of the Week. Like I said, I want to do this from now on. The last 10 minutes of each episode, we'll do a Warrior of the Week thing. But yeah. The only thing I can think of here in this situation is, like, I've had kind of narrowed vision, or is that what it's called? I can't remember what it's called. Narrow vision. Like, when your adrenaline's running and shit's hitting the fan and fucking things going crazy all around you, you kind of just focus in, you know, and you get your mission done. Whatever step is in front of you, that's where you're going. And I'm not saying that that's what this guy went through, man. I'm about to lose battery. I love you guys. I'm not saying that's what he went through, but I'm saying, like, this man was about his business. He stood on business that day. He saved freaking lives. Respect these men that go out there and do this shit to shape your freedom. I love you guys. Please like, follow, subscribe to the Treeline Podcast. If you haven't already, comment, engage with me, and I'll engage back. Please have a drink for Ty Carter tonight. All right. Love you guys. Keep it real.